we were talking about fake news, USEC, and disinformation. But I wanted to first talk to you about what you told me before about how you guys at DICT noticed a jump in hacking attempts during the time of Duterte's arrest. Ano nangyari doon?
Correct, yes.
Tell us about it.
Pati daw ang Supreme Court,
No.
USEC, tinitira.
Hindi naman. But for example, just to give you an example, since the time of the arrest of the former President Rodrigo Duterte, there was this person of interest, Santino, who has been trying to attack DILG-related websites. And then he's calling on other hacking collectives to join him or her. We don't know if it's him or her. To attack DILG. Ang palagi niyang banner is pre-PRRD. Also, there is this Unified Cyber Alliance and Dark Army Cybersec group who is trying to promote collective hacktivism, trying to gain the support of the underground movement to attack government websites and to post. Sila rin yung gumawa ng defacement photo. It shows, it says free Tatay Digong, and then they're using hashtag #GovPH. Most of these attacks don't really go through, but some did. For example, there was a defacement in DA, some DILG websites, etc. No? So the answer is yes. There is a increase in cybersecurity incidents or activities, cybersecurity activities targeting government digital assets since the arrest of the former president, including DICT. I think our defenses always gets a trip, parang alarm of reconnaissance for the past few days because of this.
USEC, isa sa pinagdedebatihan kanina sa TRICOM meeting ay yung kailangan ba ng regulatory functions para i-oversee itong social media or sapat na yung parang ethical suasion, moral suasion para sa kanila. Ano ba yung kulang sa ating cybercrime law in relation dito sa ginagawa ngayong mga hearing at investigasyon sa Kongreso?
Thank you for that question, Sir Ronald. The ICT has always been in the position that we need some form of social media platform regulation. The reason for that is because hindi natin sila makompel magbigay ng information o magkaroon ng tinatawag na proactive way of controlling the rise of fake news. I'll give you a very concrete example. There was a time, I think that was June or July 2024, when the voice of the president was fake. Mm-hmm. As if he is issuing a command to our troops in the West Philippines Sea, to retaliate. Mm-hmm. It was fake. The office of the president announced it was fake. The ICT said it was fake. And it took us about 24 hours before it is taken down. So hindi siya proactive, reactive siya. Na-monitor lang namin. It just so happened na-monitor namin. And then we reported it to YouTube ang pinanggalingan. And then to Meta and Facebook.
Pero sir, what nature of regulation are you looking at? Kasi yung faking the president's voice and speech is one thing, pero
it's fake.
looking
Sinabi
into...
ng NBI, it's fake. Sinabi ng Verifiles, it's fake.
Yes, sir.
Meta refused to take it down. They said na meron namang attribution to a particular poster or to a particular group. And then it happened in the US, where libel is not a criminal offense. So they refused to take it down, but to be fair to Meta, they just put a label to it saying, this might be taken out of context, or it lacks context. Mm-hmm. But they continued playing that particular video. Pati yung sa China, that China owns Palawan. Hanggang ngayon, it exists in TikTok. And we have been telling, TikTok, you should take it down. So, absent a uniform code of regulations that the social media platforms should follow, this will continue unabated. Kaya we have to hold them also accountable for what they're doing. I know this is an uphill battle. This has been discussed in Washington. This has been discussed in the European Union. I know this is an uphill battle, but I think we also have the support of other governments regarding this problem. This has to stop. This has to be controlled.
Yeah.
Pero yun nga tatanong ko, Yusek, dahil iba kasi yung mga batas sa US eh. Diba? Yung freedom of expression sa kanila is very dominant. Lalo na ngayon sa panahon ni Elon Musk at saka ni Donald Trump. Diba? So,
Correct.
Anong regulatory mechanisms ang pwede natin gawin para i-mitigate yan? Dahil hindi naman natin sila pwedeng saklawin, no? So, within our limits, how effective can any regulatory mechanism para sa ganitong klaseng problema?
So, Sir Ronald, you're saying anong police powers natin? Kasi
Yes,
they're
yes.
American companies, right? Most of them
Yeah.
are American companies. One is allegedly a Chinese company. So, well, number one, we have the capability, but we don't do it because of the lack of a law. We have the capability to block them for a period of time if they're not complying. For example, Facebook can just, be not working for the next 24 or 48 hours if there is a law that says if you fail to comply with local laws, then you will be inaccessible in the Philippines. That's one. We can also do that for other social media platforms. But I think that's the nuclear option. Another option is just to tell them there should be a Philippine office here that can be held accountable and liable for for not following the law, including laws on taxation under the Internet Transactions Act, etc., etc. Kasi isa ngayon, puro marketing office lang yung nandito. And that's the reason why pansinin ninyo sa Congress, Meta is not appearing. Kasi they do not have the power to represent Meta. Sinasabi na they're only a local marketing office. So these types of regulations can be put in place para meron naman din, we can hold someone liable. There is I'll give you another a very good example para makita natin yung how it is becoming problematic. One particular vlogger, si Maharlika, I think her real name is Eden Contreras, if I remember that, has 2 warrant of arrests issued by a local court, by local courts, a regional trial court, on 2 counts of cyber libel. So therefore, on our law, not on US law, on our law, she's a criminal. She can post bail naman, no problem. But she has to face these charges. Pero her account continues in YouTube. And informally, we've raised this with YouTube, and YouTube is saying, we have our own community guidelines. And if she's not violating any of our community guidelines, just tell us what specific post and we'll take down that particular post because it's libelous. So it mga real problems on the ground that also inhibits us from enforcing our own laws pagdating sa social media platforms.
Pero having
Yung
one
mga
preference
hacking
is one
attack sa
thing,
inyo,
but
balikan ko lang Balikan ko lang yung hacking
Yes,
attack.
ma'am.
Meron ba kayong nate-trace na source nun? Kasi yung mga cyber experts, sinasabi nila, karamihan daw sa mga attack dito can be linked to China actually
Okay.
Meron ba kayong ganong
That's a good question, no, Miss Amy. Yung rise ng attacks during the Duterte during the arrest of former President Duterte can be traced locally. Some are coming in from foreign, pero nag-announce na yung mga Filipino, they may not necessarily be here in the Philippines, but they're known Filipino activists na sila gumagawa. So these are Filipinos. For example, someone called Clamrat, which we believe is not located in the Philippines, but it's very, very fluent in Filipino, by the way, was triggering attacks here, there, and everywhere. So again, under the guise of dapat palayain, no? Si PRRD. So these are all Filipinos. But ito na yung malaking part. But we also monitored persistent threats. Ito yung sinasabi ko nung nagkita kami ni Ms. Regina. We also monitored persistent threat actors. Ang tawag namin dyan, advanced persistent threat groups. Magkaiba po kasi ang modus operandi ng mga state-sponsored or state-level type of attacks, which we call APTs. Itong mga APTs hindi nagpapakilala. They don't announce, unlike the activists. But we did also see an increased activity of APTs during this period. Feeling ko sumasakay. Kapag voluminous kasi ang attack, matatago lalo sila. No, so again, let me call out APT 17, APT 21. At least from its behavior, these are APTs 17 and 21 which are associated. I'm not saying it's from the I'm not saying it's from China, but which are associated with Chinese actors.
And then
Yung sa ano ibig sabihin ng APT? Ang alam ng mga tao rito, APT, yung kanta niya ano eh.
Hindi yan.
Ni
Sabi ko na.
Bruno.
An APT means an advanced persistent threat.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Persistent threat.
Ito po ang technical na termino namin sa mga attackers na learned. Yung talaga
Ayan, learned. Ayan, na Ronald.
full-time silang walang silang ginawa kundi
May learned
gumising,
attacks pa.
umatake, magpahinga, umatake ulit. Ganun.
And then,
Interesado ako, Yusek,
Wait.
dun sa state level. Halimbawa,
Oo nga eh.
meron tayong tensions with China sa West
Wait,
Philippine
before
Yes.
before we go to West Philippine Sea, yung attacks during Duterte arrest, what is ano yung end goal here? What were they trying to do? They were just trying to take down the pages. They were trying to
Yes.
disrupt operation. Ano yung end goal?
Well, the end goal to embarrass government. To say that government is walang silbi, no? Inutil. Kasi ang sinasabi nila, halimbawa, makikita nyo naman sa mga post na yan, sabihin nila, ang alam nyo lang, wala kayong magawa kundi umaresto ng isang tao, di ba? Di nyo naman kayang depensahan yung sarili nyong bansa. Puro ganun.
Pero sir,
And then always
specifically,
yan.
yes sir, yung
They're
specifically sir,
always
yung
calling
APT.
on free PRRD.
Yes, sir. Specifically yung
FPR.
APT, sir. Yung APT, yung Advanced Persistent Threats, during the time of the arrest of the former president, could you give us an idea by how much yung jump o yung increase ng activity? And more or less, what kind of activity are we talking about? Also defacement ba? Also attempts to,
No.
or were these attempts to get into the mainframe
The
and so on down the line?
database.
APTs are always attempts to gain access to critical databases of government. And their target is specific. Their target is usually Philippine Coast Guard, OPD, ICT, law enforcement like NBI. Yan ang target usually ng mga APTs. So yes, there is an increase in APTs, but mahirap din sabihin yung increase because APTs, like I said, are persistent.
Yeah.
It is possible that they have been there for quite some time, lying dormant. And ngayon lang namin nakita yung activity because sumasabay sila, no? So, same as fake news. Dumadami din yung fake news na may kinalaman sa China, West Philippine Sea,
Yeah.
Palawan, etc.
Ayun.
Sumasakay eh. Parang nagtatago doon sa, how do you call it? Parang pinapalamanan mo. Di ba? Marami kang sahog. So, tinatago mo yung sarili mo sa loob.
Si Ronald had a question about West Philippine Sea.
Yes, dahil marami kaming karanasan yan dati. Dun sa civilian convoy. No, may website yan. Talagang ang daming attempts. At clearly, ayon dun sa mga IT experts namin, may mga may mga indications that all of this came from China. So hindi ko alam yung mga Neanderthal ako pagdating sa ganyan. Pero
Hindi ka learned.
Pero hindi ako learned. Pero yung mga Gen Z tsaka millennials, kabisado nila May mga binabanggit sila ng mga so may ganyan din ba tayong monitoring, Yusek?
Yes, we have a National Security Operations Center now active with 32 agencies, including the Philippine Coast Guard connected to it and the Office of the President. So we can monitor. Magko-konting technical lang ako. Ang pinagkukunan mo niyan yung tinatawag na indicators of compromise. So I can invite you actually to our NSOC. Makikita mo parang nakamap saan nanggaling, papaano yung method of attack, anong vulnerability yung inattempt, etc. etc. So per stage, nakikita natin yung attempt. Ang nakakatakot nga, hindi namin nakikita So, after that, we manually verify after initial attempts. Last year, we monitored 5.4 million attempts to government lang, to government websites. For this year, I think, dito lang sa Duterte, I don't have the exact figures right now, but dito lang sa Duterte issue, nag-increase na yung malicious attempts to 2 linggo pa lang nasa 80,000 yung malicious attempts. So medyo mataas. But we're still trying to look into patterns. Pero yun nga, but we're defending. That's the good news about it. May lumulusot, may nakikita kayong post sa breach forums na may lumalabas. Tsas marami rin talagang fake news. Marami nagsasabi na kiniklaim nila na attack nila. Halimbawa, may lumabas na news, in-attack daw ang GCash. Tapos naka-ano rin, free PRRD. Nung binuksan namin yung file, 2021 data. Ibig sabihin ko sa former, naalala nyo yung may news pa noon dati na a subsidiary or a vendor, yung one of the data processors of GCash had a data breach. Parang ito rin yun inulit lang yung information. So a lot of this is also fake news.
Is
Pero
there,
Yusek, you can reassure our public na kaya niyong labanan yung mga yan. Will you have the capability? Kasi noon sabi sa amin ni Ivan, parang kulang na kulang yung tao to fight all these things.
Miss Amy, palagi naman kulang Kulang palagi ang pera, kulang palagi ang tao, kulang palagi ang oras. But what I can say is that we're doing our best and we are protecting the critical infrastructure of government as best as we can. And as I mentioned, less than 1% naman yung dumidiretso. We'll just be very, very careful. No? Yun lang din ang pakiusap ko sa media. Dati kasi nakaka-hype agad ang cyber-attack. Let's just be very careful in claiming an attack. Kasi karamihan po sa namomonitor din namin, claiming an attack happened, actually never happened. An example, PCSO. Hindi naman talaga inatake yung PCSO. It was a email account of an employee. And then ang mga nakuha pa for Christmas party photos. So, it's PCSO was not attacked. Maybe an employee's mailbox was compromised. Personal mailbox. So these are two different things. And you know how it is with hackers. They wanted to what do you call that? Sensationalize the attempts.
Yusek, yung inyong capacity, nako-complement ba yung inyong wherewithal to do your job by our international friends? Are you at liberty to say that? Nakakatulong ba sila?
Yes. Thank you for that question. Yes, and I thank especially the government of the United States and the government of United Kingdom. They give us advanced, actionable, real-time information on what would happen, on probable attempts on against government sites, not only government sites, but sometimes against our fintech. If there are fintech targets. If there are bank targets, if there are cryptocurrency targets, they give us actionable intelligence. So the answer is yes.
Yung China, hindi tayo tinutulungan. That was,
walang
I don't know with
joke,
DFA.
Yusek.
Then may cooperation, di
there's
ba?
no agreement. I don't think there's
we have a
agreement.
cooperation agreement with them,
Meron
di
ba?
ba?
Yeah. No, I'm just a very practical person. No, I don't know with DFA, but my desk as your cybersecurity chief DICT, my desk has not yet received such information as of this moment.
Okay.
Ayan.
Sir, pahabol lang.
Okay.
Just to qualify, so you're looking at some sort of SOCMED platform regulation, not
That's
SOCMED
correct.
regulation. I suppose kasi there's a difference between the two.
Yes.
Yes, we wanted a SOCMED platform. We wanted this to be platform-centric.
Yeah.
So we wanted the platform to do better in proactively implementing our own law. Ganun lang. Actually, ang may model na yan, Singapore. Example sa Singapore, pag sinabi ng kandidato sa eleksyon, hindi ako yan. Wala nang niha, wala nang community guidelines, wala nang investigasyon. You are ordered to take it down.
Yeah.
Kasi sinabi na niya, hindi ako yun.
Yeah. So it's fake.
Pero yung second, di ba ginagawa ng ngayon ng Meta? Marami na silang tinake down for coordinated inauthentic behavior. Meron ganun you can actually send complaints to them na itong grupong to, ganun-ganon.
Yes
ano
naman.
pang pwedeng idagdag doon?
That's correct. Pero the difference is right now, we're under their community guidelines. And so, it's up to them whether they will take it down or not. Yung binigay ko example kanina, yung sa Polvoron issue. Pero kapag kasi meron tayong batas at sinabi natin, we're saying this for national security, ito ang guidelines dyan, ito yung batas dyan, you take it down.
Yeah.
Pero
Don't have a
Okay.
choice.
Yusek, anong epekto dyan ng bagong policy ng Meta na tinanggal na nila yung karamihan ng kanilang fact-checking system?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So,
Bago
pero
na
meron pa rin content moderation. So, tinanggal nila yung fact-checking. Ibig sabihin, okay lang mag-post ka ng kasinungalingan.
Yeah.
Pero may content moderation pa rin. Ibig sabihin, meron pa rin rules against hate speech, discrimination, harmful behavior, fraud, under the rules na lang ng Facebook. So hindi na nila, parang sinabi lang ni Meta, it's very hard to check if you're factual or not. We don't care.
Yeah.
What we do care is that if your speech is hateful, discriminatory, or was fraudulent, parang ganun.
Okay. We'll leave that there. Thank you so much for your time and your insights today.
Thank you.
DICT Undersecretary Jeffrey Dy.
Thank you, Yusek.
Thank
Thank you,
Sec.
Sec.
Thank you, sir.